This is a story about Pippi Longstocking and the witch who tried to kill all the children in the school with crazy pencils. Once upon a time, in a little village where Pippi Longstocking lived, even though she did not go to school because she didn't want to, sometimes she did because her friends, Tommy and Annika, used to ask her, "Pippi, why don't you come to school? It's quite fun, you know. We get to play outside sometimes and go on the swing. And, you know, the teacher's really nice. Our teacher is anyway. There are some teachers that are a bit scary. But our teacher's pretty nice." And so Pippi was like, "I'll think about it. Maybe not." Anyway, one day, Annika and Tommy knocked on Pippi's door, crying their eyes out. There had been another bully at school. Not Big Bugger Billy and Bobby, because they were old men. It was actually another bully, a school bully. He was called Brian. That's right, Brian the school bully. And because he was bullying Tommy and Annika, they were crying and they wanted Pippi to help. So Pippi thought, well, I am going to go to school after all, aren't I? And the next day she did. She got up earlier than usual, because she likes to have a sleep in the morning and get up a bit later. She got up earlier and had breakfast with Mr. Nilsson the monkey, and then she got ready, and she was there waiting on the steps for Tommy and Annika to walk past in the morning. They were walking down together, hand in hand, with their heads looking down rather slowly, as if they didn't really want to go to school. Well, not until Pippi said, "Hey, I'm waiting for you." They both lifted their heads up and smiled from ear to ear, because they knew Pippi Longstocking, the strongest girl in the world, was going to come to school, and they were going to sit next to her all day. And even if even if Brian, the bad bully boy, was to pick on them, Pippi would just throw him in a tree with a little finger. That's right. He was no match for Pippi. In fact, she could blink and blow him over. Anyway, she went to the school, and the teacher was like, "You're not a student here." She's like, "Well, I am now. For today, anyway. What are you going to do about it?" Nothing, I guess. "Does your mum and dad know?" "Yes, they do. They called the principal, and he said it was okay." "Oh, well, I guess you can stay then." The teacher was so busy with all the students that he didn't have time to run up to the principals and check if this new girl was really a student or not. And anyway, she seemed to be really friendly with Tommy and Annika, and he was keeping the bully quiet, so why not? And she answered lots of questions, and she was quite nice. So he thought, why not have this girl in my class? She's quite good. Anyway, after the first 2 periods, it was break time, and Pippi Longstocking went for a walk to see where all the things were to play and everything. She left Annika and Tommy on the swings in the sandpit, and when she came back, there was silly bugger Brian the bully, tormenting them and teasing them, and he pushed Tommy off the swing. The teacher had said no pushing, but he did it. Now, that made Pippi angry, because you know how much of a good friend she is. She shouted at Brian and said, "Hey, you! Stop picking on my friends." "What are you going to do about it? Huh? Look at you with your funny stockings. You're not even the right colour." "Yeah, so what? I chose to put these on a different colour. What about you? Why is your mind so mixed up anyway?" "What do you mean?" "Well, you have to be a bit mixed up in the head to pick on people and make them cry. What's all that about? Do you not know how good it is to be happy and nice?" "Well, I like it." "Exactly, you silly bugger. Now, stop teasing them, and don't push Tommy off the swing again, or I'll swing you and throw you up into that tree. See that one on the top of the mountain over there?" "Don't be silly." And he turned around, and he pushed Annika off, and she landed on her face, and she got a nosebleed. Right, that's it. Pippi marched over, picked Brian up by his ear, swirled him around the head, and flung him all the way over the school, and he landed in a tree on top of the mountain. Pippi rubbed her hands and said, "That serves you right. Hope you don't come back to this bloody school." And she picked up her friend Annika and took her to the nurse, and there she got some bandage for her nose. And that was the rest of the day, really. They went back to class, and they had a science, and then they had PE, and then they had yoga, and then they had art. And Pippi arrived at a late school, and she thought, "I might come back tomorrow." "Please do," said Annika and Tommy. "We really like it when you come to school." All right, have a think about it." The next day, she did go back to school, and it was Thursday, and she went back to school on a Friday as well. And then on the weekend, she had 2 days where she didn't go to school, and she thought, "I'd rather miss the school." And then, when she was turning on the telly, she saw the news that the most terrible, terrible witch in the world was trying to kill all the students in all the schools with some poisonous, crazy pencils. The pencils were so scary and magic. If you looked at them, your eyes would fall out. There had been 5 children in another school whose eyes had all fallen onto the floor because they were looking at the pencils. The witch was putting the magic in the pencils and then putting these really nice, sharp pencils onto the students' desks, into the pencil cases, into the pot on the front of the teacher's desk. And if a student touched the pencil, their eyes would fall out. If they looked at the pencil tip and saw how sharp it was, their eyes would fall out and bounce all over the floor. Well, this was just unbelievable. And the parents were going mad because kids were coming back home with their eyes in their pockets. They were being sent home with their eyes in their bags. Their eyes were in the pencil case. And all these children were using their eyes like teng board. And they couldn't see. Well, and that's no good, is it, when you can't see? So, Pippi got up extra early and went in to the school with Mr. Nelson the monkey, because she wanted to find out if there was any of these magic crazy pencils. And so she had a look, and she had her sunglasses on because she thought, if my eyes pop out, they're going to hit the sunglasses, just pop back into my head. Oh. And so she did, and she found all these magic crazy pencils, and her eyes were popping in and out of her head, bouncing off her sunglasses. It was rather fun for her. It was like table tennis with your eyes. Anyway, she got rid of all these pencils, and she thought, "I'm going to have to catch this witch before any more boys and girls' eyes fall out." Hold on a sec, I'm going to get out the taxi now. So Pippi got rid of all these crazy pencils, and she didn't say anything to anybody because she didn't want to spoil it and ruin the chances of catching the witch the next day. She had a nice day at school and went back home hand in hand with Tommy and Annika, had a dinner, and then came back to the school in the middle of the night to catch the witch. She heard the witch coming on a broomstick with a crazy cat, and just as the witch was taking them crazy pencils out of her bag, Pippi pounced, grabbed the witch by her hair, put her fingers around her nose, and flew her right up to the tree on top of the mountain, and then got all the pencils and threw them, and they stuck in the witch's head, and the witch and her eyes all fell out. And that is the end of the story. The end. Love you. Good night.